Hello and welcome to the TV and Movie Reviews Podcast. I'm Hank,
And I'm John.
and we're your hosts. And this time we are going to deliver a spoiler filled review of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Absolutely.
Typically, we go into sets and stuff like that, but I really don't want to do that this time, John. I just kind of want to have an open dialogue over this movie. Um, let's go over some of the actors first, and then we'll go over some of the points. Benedict
Okay.
Cumber, Benedict Cumberbatch, how did you think he did?
I mean, considering the amount of roles he had to play for this movie, I thought he did pretty good. I'm interested in seeing the direction that they have this Doctor Strange going now.
Okay, interesting. I thought he started out okay, like fine, and then as the movie went on, I think there's some explanations, but he was just pun intended strange, and, and I don't know if this is the right story to tell for an actor like him. The first movie was more of a correct story that you would tell for an actor of his caliber, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I mean, if anything, let's just get to the honest truth. I mean, this really wasn't called. It shouldn't be called Multiverse of Madness. This was just WandaVision Part 2. So,
Right.
so I I mean, I think he did. To me, I think he did a good job considering everything they're going through. I bet you that if hopefully they'll do a director's cut of this movie and they'll release it because you know that there's probably another hour's worth of material laying on the floor, which would probably solve a lot of your issues.
Now, now, sorry about that. Um, they said that there was a lot of reshoots in this movie and stuff. And as the movie went, even like body types, I'm not trying to be offensive in any way, shape, or form. Things seem to look different in some areas and stuff. Like I said, this is not meant to be an offense, but even some of the actors, like, there was this one scene where the camera like focuses in on Wanda, and I was like, "Oh, that's COVID hips," like that's somebody that hasn't been able to be out exercising and stuff. It was just a few points like that where I was like, "That looks different," and then some of the animation stuff, I was just like, it just seemed like it suffered a little bit from potentially maybe some of the lockdown stuff. I don't know.
Well, I mean, more than likely, a lot of the scenes that we saw with Elizabeth Olsen were filmed during WandaVision, which would be in the middle of the COVID. Because I mean, it was the same sets. So I mean, it might have been just a bonus for them while they were doing the show that they can go to the same set to do the movie.
Right. How did you think she did overall?
I mean, I'm kind of sad that they went ahead and they made her like the direct villain. I mean, it completely threw me for a loop considering the fact that that was not what I was going in. Actually, just in reality, this entire movie was not what I expected it to be. All the little things that I thought were going to happen in there did not happen. So, but with her, I mean, we know that she's already signed a 7-year deal with Marvel, so she will be back. There's absolutely no way that she can be dead. But I really do wish that with this character they may have discussed the Nexus being, considering that that's what she is, and they've already made that a point. And why they never brought that back up again, I'm not sure. But it's a very contrast from the Wanda that we've seen. So because we're gonna have to actually talk about them as two different people, like Wanda versus the Scarlet Witch. When we start off and she's acting all Wanda-ish, and then she basically was just like, yeah, I'm it's really good at making these lies. It's just actually lying in general, and then she wipes it all away, and then it's like just completely barren. It's a neat takeaway, showing that she's the dark hold has basically been wearing on her and has taken hold of her to the point where it's now in charge.
Let's talk about America Chavez. I absolutely was not prepared for the amount of screen time that character was able to get, and I really did not have any interest in that character. I'm tired of the trope that I'm this young kid and I don't know how to use my powers yet. We've seen that, and not just in superhero movies, but in other like mythology type action adventure type stories, and just absolutely incoherent. And nothing against the actress. It's just the character is just not somebody I was interested in. At one point the character's like, "Oh, you tried to kill me in this other dimension," and then at the other, "I get it now. I understand."
I mean,
You could have saved us an hour.
I mean, I believe that the work that they did with her. I mean, she's very comic book accurate, even all the way to the origin. Not knowing her power, yeah, that's different from the comic books. But I mean, hey, that's how they were able to make a plot. Not to mention that, had she actually been able to control her powers, yeah, you really wouldn't have a movie because she would have just basically banished Scarlet Witch somewhere else.
So it's goofy. It's like they write to fit what they want to do instead of the other way around.
Yeah, but we can't totally pin it on them to get everything absolutely right. They've already proven time and time again that being that this is a whole other universe that they're dealing with, that not everyone is the same in how they do stuff. So, but the catch with this is that, even she said it herself, is that, she doesn't dream and she doesn't have, there's no other versions of her, which means that if that's the case, then she should be the same one that we know from the comic books, which means she should know how to use her powers. So
exactly. And it's like they don't bother. I'm pinning this on the company, because it's like they don't bother to learn the characters. As we've seen in Thor trailers, he's trying to find himself for the 4th movie in a row and stuff. They don't bother to understand what the fans of the movies and the comics would actually care about, what makes us care about the story. And they just absolutely missed with that character for me.
Well, in the bigger scope of things, remember, they address this universe as 616, when we know that that's not 616. It's actually Earth 1999999. But that's what threw me, because I knew that the 616 was always a gag, because since the comic book series that we all know exists in the 616, that's why they always threw it out. Like, how many times was there 616 in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that they always, like, the bus was labeled 616. So, them basically stating that this was 616, meaning that that a lot of the stuff that's in the comic books should have been accurate then. So I don't know why they went that route and didn't say it was Earth 1999999.
Rachel McAdams, I thought she did a good job. She reminded me more of the What If version of Christine Palmer, and I thought she did a good job.
Yeah, no, I thought she did too. I like her perspective of things when we get further on down. Like she's in charge of all the dimensional travel. That was pretty neat.
Wong, I am just so confused about the character Wong. Now he's Wonder Woman with a magic lasso. I kept calling him Wonder Woman 1984 in the theater, to the chuckle of the people sitting close to me. I don't know what his character's supposed to do or be anymore. It's like it is different in each movie.
I mean, the Sorcerer Supreme is supposed to be flexible in all aspects. I mean, when it comes down to the weapons, we have to go back and look at what he's used in the past. But I mean, we've seen other people using the chains. So I'm not going to make it that far fetched that he could do that. But my issue was, being the Sorcerer Supreme, yes, he's supposed to guard the universe, but here he is, automatic. Oh yes, you're going to torture my friends. I understand that, but then he gives up where the Darkhold was created, from the get go. Maybe because he's hoping that she would just leave and then she wouldn't make it out. But as soon as she basically gives him the sling, was like, "Come on, we're going there." He should have just slinged them into the sun or something like that.
They should have slung this movie into the sun. That would have been awesome.
No, I can't say that.
Oh gosh, yeah, we have two totally different takes on this.
Yep, and that's why everyone loves us.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Let's get into some of the, just have an open discussion on some of the stuff. I just really thought that the kid being this MacGuffin, like her powers being the MacGuffin, is just, I don't know. It's just like, why is this kid in the movie? Reasons, forget that we've seen other travel and stuff and the quantum realm and stuff like that. Forget all that. Now we got to have this specific individual that can do this. This is the only one that can do it too.
Well, I mean, the answer to that is because it's a power that they've been able to prove that can be removed. Everything else has to be acquired through some sort of technology-based system, but in this case, it's like a self-governing power, which everyone's like, well, if I had it, I can make it work. But so that's why she's the MacGuffin, because that's what her character is.
Of course, but it's just convenient to me.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but it's always going to be convenient, no matter what we what it is we see.
You don't have to
do that.
You don't always have to write on the nose, though. Like, there's a difference between intelligent, crafty writing and then writing because reasons. Like, oh, we need somebody that has this ability. Okay, let's just give it to this person.
But she has that ability in the comic books, though. So it's not like
she doesn't know how to use her abilities in the comics. So you just pick what and choose what you want from the comics and what you don't want from them.
All right, okay, you got me there.
Interesting. What did you like about the movie? Because I have a laundry list of stuff I did not like.
that John Krasinski ended up being Mr. Fantastic because all the fans demanded, so it happened, which was perfect. That and we got Black Bolt. Oh, hey, but listen, he's in a comic book. Oh, stop! He's in a comic book accurate costume. I mean, even whenever they had him on Titan and he flew and he had the wing things too, and I'm like, wow. And then he had the best death.
So if this dude, in his entire existence, has he never burped before or anything like internal?
No.
So dumb.
He always, yeah, okay, but hold on. This is all exactly like how it is in the comic books. I mean, at some point in time, you know what, here, I will Google it because this had to have happened at some point in time in the comic books. But yeah, his head imploding, exploding, whatever it was, just from himself.
You don't have a mouth. Do that to everybody then if it's that easy. Like, why wouldn't you just keep doing that? Like, and you don't have a mouth, and you don't have a mouth, and you don't have a mouth. Oh my gosh. Yikes.
All right.
John's trying to save this. John is trying to make soup out of poop.
Oh, stop. Come on. I still enjoyed everything.
Yikes.
No,
how much are they paying you? Just curious.
I wish. Oh man,
What kind of deal did you get?
Not one that's benefit both of us or me. So,
losing my sanity. What else did you like? Let's keep it moving.
Okay, so a couple of the worlds we ended up in. If anyone actually caught this, they did purposely try and put a Star Wars spoof in there, and that was Mustafar. So. No, you know what? They didn't outright say it, but they definitely were like, "Hey, like they all of them are Star Wars fanboys too, so they try to slip something in there that's Star Wars related just because they can. And in this case, one of the worlds was supposed to be, Mustafar. Oh yeah, sorry, Mustafar, and so that's where they were gonna, I guess, drop them into the lava right there. So I mean, that one was neat. But we didn't get. We got some of the stuff from the What If series. Really, all this is a continuation of a couple of the What If series and WandaVision. So it does upset me a little bit that we didn't see like the office of He Who Remains, because I thought we were going to end up going to the time variant location at some point, because that entire realm of existing like in the like in between places, that's kind of where where his castle was. So, but I mean, I just feel that you're just gonna bash it. Come on, man! They played the '90s X-Men theme whenever Patrick Stewart rolled up in the '90s X-Men yellow hover wheelchair.
I mean, that's cool that you enjoyed some of these little, the things that they throw out, the little crumbs they throw out, where they actually had to do some research on characters and how they act. But there's just not anything to the story. Answer me this. She made those kids out of nothing on WandaVision, correct? Pretty much,
yeah,
just made them. Why not make 2 more? Reasons?
Mephisto.
Okay, not bad. You got Mephisto in here. That's not bad. You've officially read more comics than the writers. Good job. Good job. You know who Mephisto is.
Yes.
Okay, so, and then you're telling me, like, we've heard Hank Pym and others speculate that there's infinite realities, correct?
Yes.
There's none where these kids don't have the mom. There's no universe in which they're like in foster care, or they are, Wanda's downtrodden and doesn't want them and stuff. She's always just a good mom in every single universe.
No, there probably is one that's like that. It's a lot of searching through the multiverse to try and find. I mean, I can understand
but
that.
you can hijack a body from into another multiverse because reasons.
Yeah, because it's in the Darkhold. I mean,
you can't find your parents, but you can find Doctor Strange no matter whatever he.
Hey, you and Alex already. You and Alex already pointed out that the Darkhold and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was the MacGuffin of anything that you needed to be able to escape and get out of. So I don't know why you're beating yourself over the head on it. You already knew what you're getting into when it involves the Darkhold.
I just
see that's God. It. That's reason right there. You just say
it's not just that book though. Like, and then she's always like the most OP character. It reminded me so much of Phoenix Force. It was so fitting for Patrick Stewart's character to be there because it reminded me of the freaking Phoenix. It was like, dude, just unstoppable. Can't be hurt, harmed, defeated, anything.
Well, considering that she's like the avatar to Cthon or whatever, the Cthulhu-ish kind of like creature that wrote the book, which is a demon. I mean, I can see that the power. Think about it this way: it's like the Juggernaut is it gets its power from the gem of Sidorak. Sidorak's a chaotic god, so basically he is Sidorak's avatar. So he's super OP because of that. Now he's not 100% OP, and that's the same situation that we're seeing here with Wanda. There are times when they get the best of her, or they are able to capture her or whatever, and it's not going to be long lived. It's very short lived, but at the same notion, she is the prophesized Scarlet Witch, which is inside the Darkhold, which is like I guess the avatar of Chthon. I have to get that name.
Oh, anyway, okay. Let's keep it moving. What else did you like about it? Anything else?
Yes, I love the our end camo with Bruce Campbell, basically doing all the stuff from Evil Dead with his hand and punching himself in the face. That was a Sam Raimi call out to himself, where he just being like, yeah, let's just do this because we can, and it was funny. And I do like that whenever America was just like, yeah, most places the food is free, and he's like, you owe me money, and we're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell's awesome. I do
Yep.
love Bruce Campbell.
So, but we also did not have an Iron Man in this. Like, oh my God, the entire internet like exploded saying that, oh no, that is Iron Man. No, it wasn't. I mean, to me, when I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to be wrong about it, but I'll be honest, to me, it looked like Captain Marvel in those pictures. I didn't know which Captain Marvel it would be, but to me it looked like Captain Marvel. So, but getting Captain Carter in there and watching her get demised by basically getting cut in half, I was like, come on. I know, like, we've already seen the Winter Soldier just hurl the shield back at Cap, and Cap caught it like right at his waist. So don't know why she missed this time around. I mean, she really did make short work of the Illuminati. But
I know.
But
and hey,
here
let's fight her at one at a time at first, like the two dumb dudes go one at a time like lemmings. Here we go. How do you like your Krasinski? Shredded. Okay.
But we finally got a Illuminati call out from Iron Man 2 that we saw on Tony's phone at the very beginning. So, but I thought that Strange. I thought we were going to get the Doctor Strange that was going to be holding that pocket universe, but in reality, we get a Sinister Strange. I love how they have these names for him. So there was Defender Strange, who's the one that we had in the beginning. That's his outfit from whenever he was the original team called the Defenders, and then you have the Sinister Strange, which is the one that basically was corrupted by the Darkhold. So I figured that Sinister Strange would have been more like that other Strange that we saw in the What If series, where basically has an endless amount of powers because he's absorbed all these other creatures. We didn't get that, and that's good because he would have just won. But
they kind of alluded to it, when he
Yeah.
at first lets out all those. I don't know what they were supposed to be, serpent-looking things, chains or whatever.
They're
early on, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like alluding to that a little bit or what have you.
Where did I see that? Hold on. There's some. They actually have a name. Let's see if I can find the dumb
Okay.
thing.
Googling is not good radio, so keep it moving.
Oh, okay. No. I already have the window open. It's just I don't know where it is on here. So I
And
would also like
the
to point out.
Illuminati was like not even the real Illuminati team. You know what I mean? Like that's not the comic accurate Illuminati team.
I mean, half of it was. I mean, you have I mean, think about it. The only two people that they have to change out. I mean, or sorry, three people would be Namor's supposed to be there, Strange is supposed to be there, and Tony's supposed to be there. And clearly, those characters are not there.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's it?
It's the Illuminati. There's supposed to be 6 of them because in the end, the Illuminati in the comic books end up taking the 6 Infinity Stones and splitting them up amongst themselves. So it should be Professor X, Mr. Fantastic, Tony Stark, the Sorcerer Supreme, Namor, and Black Bolt.
Cool.
So am I? I mean, am I right? Are you looking it up while I'm talking? Am I right or what?
I think you are right for this iteration. I believe you're correct.
I mean, we didn't. Doctor Strange was picked up, by Mordor, and so he's there. But there wasn't. Captain Marvel wasn't part of the group, and neither was Captain America. Although I have heard there's iterations where Captain America ended up being in the Illuminati, which I don't feel that his character would have done something like that just because of what they are.
Right. He doesn't stand for that.
Yeah.
Um, the resolution, to me, was. I mean, I just don't know how to describe it other than a letdown. To be like, the kids are happy.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, my bad. Sorry, I killed a bunch of people. Peace.
Yeah, that whole thing there at the end, I agree with that. That was one of the things that they probably should do. Oh, called Vipers of Valator, by the way. I've actually
What is
skimmed by
called?
it like 7 times now.
What is called
Uh,
that?
and one of those universes we jumped through had the Living Tribunal head. Did you see? You caught that, right?
Yes, the heads have making an appearance in Loki as well. Correct.
Didn't we theorize that, or it was one of
Yeah.
the? Oh no, it was one of the statues in the background.
In the background.
Yeah. So, but for
Um,
certain, this is what he was.
Okay. And then, what did you think about the mid-credit scene?
The mid-credit scene with him running off with his future possible wife, that is totally on board. So that would be Clea, and currently in the comic book series right now, Clea is the Sorcerer Supreme. She ends up marrying Doctor Strange, and then whenever he dies, she takes over. She is actually more or less a princess of the dark dimension. So when she had that rift open up, and she was like, "Come on, let's go," and I'm like, "He's about to jump into the dark dimension." I didn't know who she was at all, because she doesn't look like. To me, she doesn't look like the same as her comic book counterpart. So when I went back and I had to look that up. Just to make sure I knew what I was looking at, and but as soon as that, I'm like, okay, well, they're going to go down this path, because that's a whole story path that they deal with too. What I'm more along the lines interested in is what this third eye that he has now, because that is the Eye of Agamotto is where that appears, but we know that doesn't exist, and that was because of the Darkhold. So that means a piece of Darkhold is hanging out with him still. So does that mean that he now has sorcerer and witch abilities? Because
interesting.
because that was the weird thing with the Darkhold. That's the only thing I didn't understand. They're like, oh hey, the big old monster. I got its name right here. Gargantos. Oh yeah, Shuma Goroth, the octopus looking thing where they popped its eye out. By the way, that's an elder god, and they killed it by pulling its eye out.
Are you saying that's not likely?
No, it's an elder god. It would just make it very, very mad, and it would just start that's the thing that got me. Oh, okay, its eye is removed. How is it completely dead now? You think it'd be flailing around? It's not like it went through him. And that's the other thing is that, Scarlet Witch is sending these creatures after America, and I'm like, how does she do that? I mean, that's its own thing. So, but anyway, I whenever like that appears in the city, and we're dealing with that, so it's really. It's really bringing that far-fetched in, and I think that dealing with that creature right at the beginning and taking care of it as easily as it did, I don't know. I wish there was a little bit more out of it than that. I mean, now what are they going to do with it? They've got this weird dimensional creature that's just sitting in New York on the street. Man, dude,
Damage control.
Damage control has their work cut out for them. They're always like, why do we get all the stinky monsters?
They're gonna be eating it at some of those restaurants downtown. They'll be like carving it up. They're like, "Ooh, yeah, it's on the menu." You want to go into ratings, or you want to continue to talk about stuff we liked and didn't like?
There's a bunch of little things I'd like to just point out. So I mean, first things first. Yes, we would go back to Wanda's house. Wanda's house is exactly the same as it is in the show. The interior is the same, and I'm very appreciative that they brought the boys in, and they didn't. I thought one of them was being talked about it being recasted. Just so happens that the world that Chavez comes from is supposed to be like some like paradise realm, which by the way is connected to all this because it is actually run by, and I can't remember the exact name of that thing of the person, but it was actually Wiccan. So Wiccan in an older state becomes like this omnipotent being and ends up running this paradise universe. And that's where she's from. So they were able to connect that. and then did you notice Master Hamir? Remember
Which
that
one is from the?
when he walked in, he thought that was the ancient one. In
No,
the
I
first
don't
Doctor
remember
Strange, in the first Doctor Strange movie, he walks in to talk to the ancient one, and it was that dude with the long beard and glasses, and then he just gets up to go get some tea. So he was wandering around in there too. So I'm glad that they're just being consistent with the members of the group. Rintra, the Minotaur. So I really wish that he was explained a little bit, because he wasn't at all. And knowing that he is actually a pretty decent character in the Doctor Strange universe, that's one of those things where I really should have been explored some more. And going down. Oh, and then the sands of Nasanti. That was something that should have been explained a little bit more. That basically has the ability to. It was supposed to put everyone to sleep, but at the same time, it has the ability to negate magical abilities. So he takes a little bit of that sand. That was the green things that were inside the handcuffs.
All right.
So that muted his powers down. There was a real neat Easter egg in regards to something that the boys were watching. There was a Disney cartoon, and the Disney cartoon was of a bunny, not of a mouse. That's actually a real thing that happened, and because of copyright issues and other infringements, Walt Disney had to change the rabbit into the mouse that it currently is now. So in the universe that they're playing around with, and clearly that didn't happen. So that's actually something that's real in all of that. And let's see if there's anything else I'm missing. Oh, they mentioned the Baxter Foundation, but as soon as I was like, Dr. Fantastic Four, and then they went ahead and showed him. So I really wasn't too overly, shocked by him being there right after they mentioned that. And I enjoyed it, but it was definitely not what I expected. I really expected we were going to do a lot more hopping around in the multiverse, considering it's called the Multiverse of Madness. I thought it was going to be one of those things that by the end we should be confused. And they're saying this is about as a horror movie as Marvel is going to get. And I mean, yeah, it had some, zombie Strange with his demon creatures. Oh, that should have been explained, by the way, even more so. All of a sudden, you just got these things that are like, oh, he's doing something he shouldn't do, but then these ghosts show up or whatever the heck they are. But why isn't that explained a little bit more? So there's got to be stuff that's sitting on the cutting room floor that got left out of this movie to help have some of this make sense.
Yeah, most certainly. Well, ready to dole out your ratings?
Yes. Do you want me to go first? Let me go first because I have a feeling that you're going to tank it. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give it a 7.5. I enjoyed it, and they did a good job of bringing more people into the fold, even though I know that you think that a lot of those additional people that they brought into the fold are just there as MacGuffin pieces to move story along. But I mean, in a comic book world where there are so many comic book characters, even if they glance over a comic book character, a character's name, that's at least some sort of recognition. Out of the thousands that are out there, at least some of them are starting to make headway into the movie scene.
Interesting. I did not like this movie. I really was underwhelmed. Even from the very start, you're going to your ex's wedding with her husband, who has not met you yet, apparently, because he really wants to meet you. And I was like, make that make sense. That doesn't make any sense. I thought just from that very start, it just went off the rails. And then you have this character that has these powers and has clearly been to other places, understands that fear makes her go to these other, multiverses. But what kind of search did you put on for your parents? Zero. Other than heartwarming. If they're like you, I know they're alive. Well, go look, because you found him really quick. So let's figure that out. But there was just so many things that just did not make any sense whatsoever. And then the cameos, how Scarlet Scarlet Phoenix just shreds everybody so easy, because it's just that same trope of this massively overpowered individual that is just mowing through your favorite characters. He could have done without some of the cameo stuff if you're just going to obliterate them like that. Like if it would have been like funny stuff like Deadpool and just like some random character that is like low level or something, you could have made it funny at least. But instead it's like, man, oh, you did the real Black Bolt outfit and everything. He's got a tuning fork on his head, and just make a mockery of him. And this is a character we actually like. Anson Mount does a great job of portraying that character, and you just make a joke out of it. And you shred Mr. Fantastic. Can he come back together? I mean, I don't know. Whatever. It was not good to me, and it's worrying me because I've avoided the Thor: Love and Thunder trailer, but I was forced to watch it at this movie, and I will not be going to see that in theaters at all. They're destroying characters for me, so I'm giving this a 5 out of 10, and that is me being nice. Because I hated almost every aspect of the movie.
Ooh.
You've just neutered a great actor like Benedict Cumberbatch with this terrible script. Terrible.
Well, maybe whatever the original version is, after the reshoots and whatnot, it would be. There's a better movie in there somewhere. Maybe we'll get the Snyder cut.
Release the Hank cut. Let me recut that sucker. I'll do it in my home computer and probably churn out something that's more coherent. But that's just my humble opinion. If you think differently, why don't you chime in at tpenetwork.com/feedback. We'd love to hear your take. And I respect that John enjoyed the movie, and I felt like I wasted 2 hours of my life.
Hey man, I held my bladder for quite a while to make sure that I could see the entire movie. I didn't want to miss anything because I already knew as soon as I get up, something was going to happen. And I mean, at least that was the thing with the movie. It was pretty fast paced enough that you weren't sitting there for too long being like, this is being drug out. So,
That's true.
but. Yeah. I'm not trying to dive back into it anymore. But the only thing I would like to point out again is that, yes, she is overpowered, but it's because she's carrying the Marvel MacGuffin that she's now destroyed. So that means that if she's back, she can't. What?
And she'll have no consequences again. She can do whatever she wants, and there's never any consequence to her negative actions.
I don't know. Maybe they'll end up doing like House of M series. I mean, that's completely possible, and it would be neat. That would help them. I don't know. If they get to a point where they've got, like, say when the mutants are introduced, if it gets to a point where it's getting like too overblown, then that's right there. If they did a mini series of House of M and then at the end of it wipe out all the mutants, there you go. That takes care of a giant chunk of characters that you don't have to worry about anymore.
Yeah, they're good at that, killing them off. All right, anything else, Jeff?
No, I know this is going to be a little while before I get to come back on the podcast due to them rolling into the Star Wars, but I'll be back sooner or later, everybody. So
he will be back sooner than he thinks. All right, for John, I'm Hank. Until the next time, my friends, we're signing off.
Later, Gator.
TPE Network. There ain't nothing else like it.